I never imagined my marriage would end with a text message, but that's exactly how it happened. After 8 years together, my wife, well, my ex-wife now, Megan, sent me a simple line one Tuesday morning. I think we should go our separate ways. No argument, no warning, no real explanation. It was almost surgical in how cleanly she cut herself out of my life. I'm Connor, 37, an IT project manager from Denver, Colorado. For most of my marriage, I thought Megan and I were steady. Maybe not extraordinary, maybe not fireworks every night, but steady. I didn't know she wanted lightning bolts and thunder until the day she walked out. And I definitely didn't know she had already found those storms with someone else, her coworker Ryan. Months before she told me she was unhappy. I found out the truth 2 weeks after the divorce was finalized. A mutual friend, Emily, let it slip while we were grabbing lunch. I didn't react. I didn't throw anything or curse or demand answers. I just sat there stirring my coffee, feeling the weight of disappointment more than heartbreak. I wasn't even surprised. Maybe that was the saddest part of all. Fast forward 10 months. I had rebuilt my life slowly, brick by brick. New apartment, new routines, new calm. Some weekends were still quiet in the kind of way that hurts, but the silence didn't swallow me anymore. I'd made peace with the idea that some people leave long before they pack their bags. Then I got the wedding invitation. It wasn't from Megan. It was from Emily, who had become an accidental messenger for both sides. She said she didn't want me to be ambushed by the news at some random moment online. She showed me the digital invite on her phone. Megan and Ryan were getting married. I stared at their names for a long time. Two people who had rewritten their story, while I was still trying to understand the ending of mine. I told Emily I wouldn't go, obviously. She nodded and said she'd expected that. She also told me very cautiously that the wedding was small, intimate even, and that Megan had looked stressed, like she wanted everything perfect, like she needed the world to believe this was the right decision. I didn't think about the wedding again until the actual day arrived and several mutual friends started posting photos from the event. I swiped through them absent-mindedly. Simple venue, pale flowers, Megan in a satin dress that didn't look like her usual style. She had always preferred lace and softer tones. But people change, I guessed. Or maybe they just pretend to. I wasn't prepared for what happened next. Around 7 p.m., while I was chopping vegetables for dinner, my phone started buzzing non-stop. 5 messages in a row, then 8, then 12, all from different people who had been at the wedding. The first message read, "Bro, you're not going to believe what someone just said during the reception." I sat down, suddenly alert. Another message came in. Megan looked like she'd seen a ghost. And then finally, a full explanation from Emily. "Connor, someone made a comment at the table about how relationships that start with cheating usually end the same way. And they said it loud. Everyone heard it, including Megan. She turned absolutely pale. I set my knife down and leaned against the counter, letting her words settle. Not because I wanted revenge, not because I felt triumphant, just because the universe has an odd sense of timing. For months I had blamed myself, dissected every quiet moment of my marriage like I could have fixed something that had already been broken behind my back. But someone, some unknown guest, had said the one thing nobody had ever dared say out loud in front of her. Emily sent a voice message next. Her voice was low, almost whispering. "Connor, it wasn't just the comment. It's the fact that Ryan didn't defend her." He brushed it off and laughed. A few people saw her face. She looked humiliated, like she suddenly realized everyone knew exactly how things started. I stayed silent even though she couldn't see me. A strange mix of emotions washed over me. Sympathy, sadness, and something like closure. Because that was the thing. Megan had never admitted what she did. Not to me, not to herself. She had rewritten the story so many times that she believed the revised version was true. But now someone had spoken the real first chapter aloud, and cracks were already forming in the polished wedding she had wanted so badly. I didn't sleep much that night. Not because I was upset, but because my phone kept vibrating every hour with new details. It was strange sitting alone in my apartment while the drama unfolded miles away at a wedding I wasn't invited to, yet somehow was still a part of. Around midnight, Emily called. I answered immediately. She didn't even say hello. "Connor, things got worse." I sat up on the edge of my bed. "What happened?" "You know the guy who made the comment? Turns out he wasn't just a random cousin. He's Ryan's older brother, Justin." And apparently he never liked the way Ryan and Megan got together. Said it caused drama in the family. I stayed quiet listening. Emily continued. Well, after that first comment, Megan tried to laugh it off, but Justin kept poking. He said, hey, at least you two didn't waste time. Some people date for years before cheating. You guys skipped the warm-up. I winced, not out of sympathy for her choice, but for the blunt humiliation of hearing it in front of a room full of guests. What did Ryan do? I asked. That's the part everyone's talking about, she said slowly. He just shrugged like it didn't matter, like it was ancient history. And that's when Megan snapped. Snapped how? She told him to tell his brother to shut up. Ryan refused. Said he wasn't going to fight his family on his wedding day. Megan told him he didn't care about her. Ryan said, I care. I just don't care enough to lie. I exhaled sharply. That sounded exactly like him. The same man who once flirted with my wife at a barbecue while telling me he respected marriages. What happened after that? I asked. The mood died completely. Half the room went silent. Someone tried to cut the tension by calling for speeches, and that's when it got messy. I closed my eyes, bracing myself. Megan's mother stood up, Emily said. And instead of giving a cute mother of the bride speech, she started crying. She said she never raised her daughter to make choices based on impulse and infatuation. And then on the microphone, she said again that she hoped this time Megan wouldn't ruin someone's life. I felt something tighten in my chest. Not triumph, not joy. Just a quiet confirmation that some truths echo no matter how hard you try to bury them. Emily kept going, her voice low. People started whispering. The DJ cut the music. Ryan and Megan argued again, like a whisper fight but intense. And then Connor, she walked out of her own reception. Just left. Didn't say goodbye to anyone. I rubbed my forehead. Where did she go? No one knows. Ryan stayed behind trying to smooth things over, but people noticed. He wasn't exactly devastated. He looked annoyed, actually. I thanked her for telling me and hung up. Then I sat there in the dark, letting everything settle inside me. I didn't feel vindicated. I didn't feel like someone who won. I just felt detached, like the final thread between me and Megan had quietly snapped without a sound. The next morning I decided to take a long walk. The kind where you leave your phone at home and let your mind sort itself out in the cold air. When I got back, I found a message from a number I didn't recognize. It was Megan. Just seeing her name again made something stir. Old memories, old hurt, old questions that no longer needed answers. Her message was simple. Can we talk? I stared at it for a long moment. 10 months of silence, and now she wanted to talk. After her wedding had exploded in slow motion. I didn't reply. 2 hours later another message arrived. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have reached out. I needed to hear a familiar voice today. I sat down at my kitchen table and read it twice. I didn't feel the urge to comfort her. I didn't feel bitterness either. I just felt finished, like whatever conversation she thought we needed had already been completed the day she chose someone else over honesty. And maybe that was the closure I never realized I wanted. That evening Emily called again. Did she text you? She asked immediately. Yes, I said. I'm not answering. Good, she whispered. Connor, I don't think she married the man she loved. I think she married the man she ruined her marriage for. There's a difference. I didn't say anything. I'm proud of you, she added softly. I looked out the window at the quiet street below, the soft blur of passing headlights. I'm proud of me too, I finally said. Because in the end, not all closure comes from conversation. Sometimes it comes from realizing you no longer need one. Sometimes it comes from walking away quietly while someone else finally hears the truth out loud.